Good morning, Pantsers. It's Tuesday. So this is going to be kind of a quick video, and I apologize already for what I'm sure will be very slapdash editing. It's been kind of a long day. So I told you guys last week about how, my dog had surgery, and she didn't mess with the stitches or anything, but because there was some inflammation, and so there was some like degradation of the skin where the stitching was, and so the stitching came loose, so we had to take her back in last week and have the stitches fixed. So that means she's on even more pills than she was on, so that's nice. But we went in and had her drain tube taken out today, so that's a step in the right direction, I guess. She has another like 10 days before she can have the stitches taken out. This is turning into a much longer thing than we had expected. So let's see. Oliver, yeah, I do love your book beads thing. I actually have it hanging on, you can't see it because the chair's in the way, but I actually have it hanging on the bedpost because when it arrived, the book that I was reading was an ebook. Obviously, I couldn't use it in that, so I just hung it on the bedpost because that's where the chair normally sits, is next to the bed, and so it was like, handy, and then I kept looking at it all the time and like fiddling with it and stuff, so now it just hangs there and I just play with it all the time. Maybe eventually I will use it in a book, but this way I can look at it all the time. Nela, it's so funny. I knew that you would love Anne Lindbergh. In fact, the only reason that I did not immediately assume that you had already read her is that I have been trying to get people to read Anne Lindbergh for like probably 16 or 17 years now. So I've been constantly mentioning her to people all this time, and no one ever knows who she is. Nobody ever has read anything by her. In fact, I can only think of one occasion where I was talking to somebody who actually like really knew who she was. My piano teacher at the college was an older lady, old enough to remember when Anne Lindbergh and Charles Lindbergh were, kind of at the peak of their fame. You bring up the kidnapping, and yeah, that was extraordinarily terrible. Not just the kidnapping itself, which was obviously horrific enough, but then the circumstances around the kidnapping, the fact that it was so long before they found the body, so they didn't know whether he was alive or not, all the stuff with the ransom and like the hope that they were going to get their child back, all the publicity, and the maid who committed suicide because she had been accused, and all of it was just it. The incident itself was terrible enough, and then it just kept getting worse, and it's extraordinary how well she coped with such a terrible, terrible experience. So yes, I love her, and I'm glad that you love her too. Channel-wide PSA, this is the last week of the year. Next week is anniversary week, so, just be aware. So I guess this is my last video of this year, of year 5. Wow, that's weird to think about. So I guess when I see you guys next, it will be year 6. Don't forget to be awesome.